This tournament was played out a couple of hours ago. I'm going to go through some of the publicly available replays. So first up, got WhiskeyTangoFox versus, I suppose that's pronounced aclawson97. So this is round 1. And yeah, so in the stream I've actually got command set up first time properly. Alright, so I think the map was Liquipdia. Not sure how to pronounce it. Yeah, I think so. It's about these weird little cliffs. So, round number 1 in the Warchief Club, number 11 in the Americas Trials. So this is the Reserve Grade League. I don't think this one's actually for prizes, unlike the main league, which is for $110 this time. I think most of the time it's around that sort of money. So, got WhiskeyTangoFox, or WTF, spawning as the Rus, player number 2. Lumber Campman House after a very early hunting cabin, just to get that nice gold generation. Oh, it does also give him access to his food tax, so you might want to go for survival techniques, or wheelbarrow, or possibly both very early, and he can even train scouts out of here instead of out of his town centre. Delays them a little bit, but it does also mean that he gets the vills out equally with his opponent, assuming they're not French, which in this case they are. So AC Lawson playing French, they are going to have a slight build time advantage with villagers. It's 10% in age 1, I think it's 20% in age 2 or 15%. So it actually is quite significant. And then even once you get to Castle and Imperial, it's even more significant. I think it tops out at like 30 or 35%, which is pretty big. And AC Lawson's going to want to go for these walls, so he can actually deny gold generation of WhiskeyTangoFox. You see getting kills. He really should go for these walls. So actually, he's going to go for the bottom one, tag the second, and I think hope he's seen this one over here. Yeah, he has. So he's probably going to bring them back to the town centre. Not worry about losing the health on the scout, even though it's going to regen. It's just best off taking it back so the town centre can actually kill them as well. You can micro around the town centre to avoid all the damage, or just sit under it and attack it and just rely on bursting them down. But this way, he's going to get a nice 75 gold in total. We probably should have waited for that one to get slightly closer, but it's no big deal. A bit of scout on scout action, bit inconsequential. So Lawson, being French, probably going to open knights, or maybe a mix of horsemen and knights. Well, WhiskeyTangoFox also has access to knights, but I mean, you probably want to try and use your second aged landmark. Probably going to go with the resource gen 1, so you can actually trade that 200 gold straight into 300 stone, because it does let you every minute make a favourable trade. It's a very nice market compared to regular markets. You can't just use it to make infinite resources, but you can use it to generate that little bit more, and on top of the Rus early gathering bonus, which is basically a free survival techniques. If you get it to tier 3, you generally will get it to tier 2. Tier 3 is quite difficult and sort of relies on getting the boars. If you're not playing a map with a lot of hunts and with a lot of sheep and getting the majority of them, you're probably going to have to fight for at least 1, maybe 2 boars. Because, I mean, WhiskeyTangoFox has really only just hit tier 2. I mean, good on him for doing so this quickly, but don't think he'll be able to get tier 3 without getting on a boar. So, those are boar spawns. Are there any? There's one there. There needs to be a map icon for boars. Actually, I think there is that one there. Yeah, so he's probably... Well, he's got both the boars sort of over his side, really. So this is nice for WTF, because the boars are here. His hunts are quite close. His opponent's hunts are actually further away from his opponent's base than his are from his. So he hasn't used this yet, don't think. WTF's going for stone, so he must want to go for a quick second town centre and just sit in age 2, use knights to give himself the age 3 lead. But he's going to have to deny WTF taking this. But the villager's going to be able to get the fortress up with ease, going to be able to take that hunt. He did lose a vill trying to take this, and Lawson has at least figured out what's going on here and has vision. One of the other hunts, so he knows he's not looking to sit across 2 hunts this early. This hunting cabin is quite nice though. Should be a bit of gold gen for WTF, considering it's sitting in that little pocket of trees. And this boar is also really close to another big pocket of trees. So it just means it's going to generate about as much gold, if not a little bit more, than you want at home as well. So realistically, if it's up for about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, it's going to pay for itself through the gold income. And then on top of that, anything beyond that, it's a real boon. It really helps pay for the fact that you've got to spend that bit more on the fortress. So for the French player, it's probably best off trying to just keep poking and prodding over here, but then also run it up the guts, try and disrupt this wood line, keep his opponent from gathering any gold or stone. Because I mean, WTF really could just double tap that and place a TC anytime he wants, or more production, so double range for him. While Lawson has a stone for a second town, and it's just getting the wood. He's getting the second TC here on a hunt, so that's a good spot to have it, because it really just means the Rus player can't go for some cheesy hunt steal, put forwards up and suddenly bleed all your hunts off you. Because I mean, if you let them do it, their food income is ridiculous. Got 1 stables, 1 range here. But against knights, it's going to be a hard sell, because Lawson going to have the regen on those knights eventually. He's getting chivalry now. Second town center means he's going to be able to get some of his own knights, some of his own ranged. I mean, get some more of his stables, get some ranges to get some ranged as well. WTF going for knights. I mean, he hasn't started gathering any gold yet, but just the fact that he has 2 nice hunting cabins means he can afford the occasional knight, and he can always just trade food into gold and just make a mix of knights, horsemen if he ever can't queue up a knight, and some bowmen. French player probably gonna mirror with the same, if not go for like a full melee. Either just commit to pure knights and go age 3, or maybe even try and get some spearmen in, because they can cost effectively fight knights quite well. Lawson's probably going to lose this once the charge is up again for Tango. No, he's backing out. So WTF, just going to see if he can pick off any vills here. He's forcing the garrison there. So blacksmith, so armor upgrades first. Or just relying on 1 building production. Well, there is a couple of actually 2 ranges and the 1 stables there for WhiskeyTangoFox. So he's definitely got the unit production advantage at the moment, but I mean, knights with upgrades against knights without them, with bowmen to support them rather than having a proper counter like spearmen. I think if Lawson can catch up in terms of production facilities, he should actually win the next couple of fights. Assuming WTF doesn't get too much value out of his harass, because he's already got that nice army count already. But Lawson going to hit these vills up here, and this is sort of going to stretch both players. It's just not long after that, WTF's going to hit the wood line of AC Lawson. Both players going to have to bit of tricky micro here and just be well aware what they've got around the map. This knight, not really going to get any kills, considering it's the one knight versus so many bowmen. Yes, it's sort of the one instance where the bowmen are going to win cost effectively, is when you've got so many bowmen to one knight. But Lawson's forced garrison there, and he's already back on his wood. WTF's sort of locked up a bit in terms of his income per minute till he gets back out of there. There we go. So bowmen, probably not the best opening here for WTF, in the sense that they're not going to trade as well as knights. The knights should be able to just get some cost effective value there. So it'll be 3 stables to 1 stables and 2 ranges. Blacksmith now with the ranged upgrade, while there's been a melee upgrade for the Knights of Lawson. So I think WTF is macroing behind this a little bit better, aside from being a bit slower and getting those vills out there. So I think the French player with pure Knights should be able to beat the front line of the Rus player. But he needs to be able to afford it, get these resources spent, because look at the bank he's got at the moment. He really could do with drawing down another stables, or just get all those vills off wood across food and gold and get the faster age 3. But in saying that, WTF also probably needs to reduce this wood eco in favour of his food eco at the moment, just so he can keep pumping out the bowmen and also work towards his age 3. In fact, he's getting some Raxes now to try and stop the French Knights. He's definitely got a much more varied comp than the pure Knight spam of Lawson at the moment. But in saying that, until there's sort of a critical mass of both Knights and Spearmen, a front line of just Knights is going to be able to beat it. They've run it, and you're not really going to be able to get any value about having a nice backline just chipping away at everything. Like I said, these guys are only a light range unit, so it's not like they're crossbowmen, not really able to pack a serious punch against Knights. But if you can squeeze them in because they're nice and cheap, H2 tack, then really just got to have just enough front line to not die for them to start really accruing value. So Lawson going for a bit of a push, getting a Vil, so I'm not really able to stick around though. WTF's going to be able to defend here. Lawson's not got everything. WTF could actually look at fighting here. So this hunt's finished. I mean this boar. There's another one just over here, but Lawson's sort of got control of this area. So we've got just stables for the French player. He's actually got ranged armor before melee armor, because he just doesn't want these bows doing a huge amount, which means he's trading well in this fight because he's already got the damage, but he doesn't have melee armor. But even still, the fact that he has 2 useful upgrades where his opponent really only got the 1 here, and the ranger's spending a lot of time running, because look at how many of them have got to try to take down the 3 knights here. It's not a great fight for them. Lawson's definitely got a nicer comp at the moment until these double spears really start pumping out here. And there is a lot of ranged fire here. There's 22 Vils in total garrisoned here to support this. Spears in the mix. All these bowmen aren't in the best spot here because the knight's just getting a good wrap around, nice little surround. And Ooh, I don't know who's got enough to maintain this, because it's definitely not a lot of units left here for the Rus player. But he's sitting on top of his production. Does have a lot garrison behind this, so French player definitely gathering a lot more behind this. But he is eventually going to have to run back out, because knights alone are eventually going to get overwhelmed. You're going to have to either get bowmen or go to age 3 and get crossbowmen to really be able to take this fight. So get the archers or crossbowmen. He's going to go for the gold over here, getting an outpost as well. Really, Lawson probably could look at trying to pressure this and forcing WTF to go for an upgrade on it, or send units to defend it, because as it is, this is generating almost 30 gold a minute. You know, it stays alive for 10 minutes. You know, it's paid for itself and for the tower, and it's accruing value still. So WTF gonna wall himself in, and Lawson just needs to apply that little bit more pressure here, keep the ball rolling, because he's definitely put himself in a favourable spot after that last fight. Although I think WTF did have a little bit better macro in the early game going into this, being able to secure this as well. Lawson probably could do with another mining camp just right here, just stop that walking time. But right now he's doing pretty well. He's definitely got a bit of a gathering advantage over his opponent. The second town centre serving him well, because WTF's really only started going for 1 now, but WTF's already got the stone to get, or nearly got the stone, so that once he gets age 3 he can go for a keep. Well, Lawson, basically no stone, and not really enough wood to start producing rams to try and break through these walls terribly quickly, because they are going to be 300 a pop. But now that he's got 15 bowmen out, he can produce them quite quickly. So he's got 2 ranges, 3 stables, or 2 stables, and the School of Cav. But with these walls, WTF is really shut off from all the hunts around the map. So at the moment, he's on 360 gold acquired. So he could. This will be 75, and then really needs to go to age 3 with the landmark that produces deer to be able to farm up more. So I don't know if he's going to get to the tier 3 tech and really be able to make use of these hunts as best as he could, but even still, it's extremely quick gathering. He's going to have to change this wood line as well, try and get on over here, or one of these patches over here, because eventually he's going to cut through his own wall. That's a nice number of spears, but in saying that, the French player, good planning and going for the archers as the main follow-up now, but that's a good number of knights too. So the knights just need to engage and disengage while these bowmen are raining hell on the spears. And at the moment, I think Lawson should really just be able to overrun WTF, as he's got basically double the army pop, double the eco pop. So you got, yeah, 90 vils, 50 military. So 44 vils, 17 military. The ram production started here for Lawson. He started getting enough 67 wood gatherers at the moment. He's cut his gold gathering. He'll probably just flip back onto gold gathering very shortly once he gets about 600 or 900 wood, just to keep throwing up another couple of rams. And throw some more of these gatherers back onto the food. Maybe start his farm production. Yeah, here we go. So he's going to get 10 farms there. Maybe send more villagers onto the berries and look at getting a horticulture. He's already got... oh, he skipped survival techniques, even though he is on that hunt. Ooh, he really needs to make a windmill over here. Cut down that travel time, and it does give him a nice-ish spot to have a windmill for farms later on. But now the rams pushing forward. So they're the most cost effective, well, I mean the highest DPS melee. Really the Knights could come in behind this and start raining down as well. You just don't want the Knights in front of the Rams because they can sort of bottleneck them. And having the Bowmen here just in support, not actually attacking the walls, just to make sure that they'll start attacking the army as soon as possible. And Lawson, I think, is in a nice spot here. He just needs to get back on his gold eco and get a couple more villagers on food, and he can really just back this up and keep applying the pressure. Because at the moment, I don't know if WTF's got enough to go to age 3 and back up this army with the amount of food it's going to cost him. He's really been forced onto the berries and to the farms eco already, which particularly for Rus is just drastic at this stage of the game. The hunting cabins take forever to build, and if they're not able to really gather you any gold and you're able to get as much value out of the hunts on the map, it just really hurts the extra cost you got to invest into them, the extra build time. Well, this one over here is alright, but these ones, like that one wasn't gathering anything, and this one, well, that's his starting one. Actually, no, it's not his starting one. That's his starting one. This one's alright, but even still, it's a costly investment to be going for when you're behind, to be building any more hunting cabins than you need, because they are more expensive than mills, and on top of that, you are going to get better hunts gathering than the other civs anyway. So Lawson going to age 3 behind this and sniping the second, well, not sniping, but taking down the second town center. GG is called. WTF taps out, and that's our round 1 game between WTF and AC Lawson.